already know pentatonic scales, but what if you could unlock the entirely new world of sounds by combining them with the major scale modes? Hey, I'm Andrea Quartarone, and in On Location Modal Pentatonics, we are going beyond the usual pentatonic shapes and exploring a fresh approach to improvisation. I show you how to build and apply modal pentatonic sounds, mixing Ionian, Dorian, Mixolydian, and even altered pentatonics into your playing. You learn how to break free from the predictable patterns, outline chord changes more effectively, and craft solos that sound richer and more expressive. We'll cover the Modal Pentatonic System, mode-specific pentatonic scale, and creative ways to connect these ideas across the fretboard. By the end of this course, you'll have the tools to expand your improvisation and take your solos to new heights. Grab your guitar and let's get started.
Hey, welcome TrueFire Fire Starters. I'm Shane, your humble step host for today's show. Before we kick things off with the legendary Andrea Quartarone, we're going to have a couple of little, I want you to drop where you're viewing from in the chat over here on the left. So we'll shout you out along the way. If you have any questions for Andrea, please leave them in the chat as well. And of course, keep your eye on the chat for links to all of Andrea's courses. But I all know that you are sick and tired of hearing from me, and I'm here to bring on the actual host, none other than the legendary and just well-dressed man, Jeffrey Sheets. Jeff, welcome.
Well, absolutely. With an intro like that, I mean, I can't beat it. Most hosts don't have an opening act. So this feels really good, being like the headliner of the hosts. And then we're going to bring on the real headliner, which is the artist. So this is a good combo here. But thank you, Shane. And thank you.
Just hoping I don't get fired.
Right. That's right. That's the best way to keep your job. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another TrueFire Live here. Appreciate that. We are going to talk about Andrea's new course, as well as some other subjects that I think are sort of relevant to this course, Modal Pentatonics. And if you have any questions, please drop those in the chat there, and we will get to as many as we can. We're going to be cranking this out for a little while. We'll show you a couple examples of the course as well. Andrea is such an amazing player, very tasty, just very, interesting player. He's not a guy that just plays sort of boring sounding stuff. His note selection and everything is just second to none, and we're just thrilled to be able to have him part of the TrueFire family, whether it's recording something at a TrueFire facility or recording something somewhere else, as this On Location turned out great. And I think it's really cool that he's willing to do all this stuff and spend this time with us, sharing and talking a little bit about it. So as Shane mentioned, look for the links to go check out all of his courses at TrueFire. And you should check them all out, get them all if you don't have them all already. But look for that link in the chat as well. We'll be dropping that in there, and you should go check this one out, because this one is pretty new and it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool concept for people who play a lot of pentatonics to be able to do something a little bit more interesting with them. So without any more yapping, we appreciate everybody calling in from or tuning in from Long Island, from Ontario, Canada, Pittsburgh, Amish country, Pennsylvania. Man, you guys are coming in from all over the place. So appreciate you being here. And without further ado, let's bring Andrea on. And I've worked on my Italian accent so much, Andrea, and it's just not very good. I'm from the Midwest, and so it is what it is, But how are you doing, man? How are you doing?
Welcome to everyone. Thank you to Shane and to you, Jeff. I'm very, very happy to be here. And my name is Andrea. It's a little difficult to pronounce, but it's like Andrew, obviously, but Andrea is my name.
Absolutely. That's good. He does it way better than I do. Andrea.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Exactly.
I tell you, where are you at right now? Where do you
Okay, I
phoning
am
in
now in
from?
Sicily. I live in Sicily, exactly in Catania, and I play with my trio. I have many, maybe too much projects at this time. Okay, but it's very too difficult to manage always. But it's very interesting for me to put my life, music and didactics, and teaching and create content. So it's a and very mixed mixing two things to do, the musical things to do. I am very happy to do
Good, good. Well,
to do that.
that I know you've been very busy. You're
Yes,
a busy guy, and your guitar playing gets you there because you're such a great player.
thank you.
Let's talk. Let's just jump in. And once again,
Yes,
if anyone has any questions, but let's talk a little bit about this course, Modal Pentatonics. And maybe start with, let's talk a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about what that means. What is Modal Pentatonics? How do you view that? How do you look at the information in this course? What is the Modal Pentatonic System for you?
yes. I'm very happy to explain better. I'm exploring for many years the modal concepts through different kinds of scales. In the Modal Pentatonics course by TrueFire, I exploring exactly the modal scales, but I have a special chapter at the end of the course and I talk about the altered pentatonic scale sounds. The altered pentatonic scale is very far from the modal concept I explain, the whole concept, and I track in this video, in this live. So the concept is very easy. I say always is very easy because it's the same concept of the sound of the modal major scales, focusing on a special tag. I like to say tag, modal tag. That's the guide note of the model of every mode. It's like I don't know, to do a picture, okay? You see a picture and you say exactly a monument, and you know exactly the city only with a piece of this monument. So for the model, it's the same thing. For example, if I play C major, C major chord, okay? Exploring the major scale, like, okay, if I improvise this kind of model major, so using all the seven notes except the perfect fourth. So, for example, and I avoid this note, okay? The model result is not Ionian, is not Lydian, because I'm avoiding exactly the perfect fourth, and this is the Ionian tag of the model, the Ionian model. So for pentatonic model system is the same system of the major scales. The difference is the instrument I use. I don't use the major scale, but I use exactly the pentatonic scale. And how many people say, and now many people know, probably, the major scale, sorry, the pentatonic scale has exactly 5 notes, avoiding the 4th degree and the 7th degree. And the 4th degree in this case is exactly the perfect fourth, the Ionian. So if I want to play Ionian with major scale, I very simply use the F major pentatonic scale. And I emphasize exactly the perfect fourth of this chord. And I would like to speak about a very interesting thing. I told about this in the video, in the course, because when I was a young student, very, very young, okay, I read in a book it was extremely important to avoid the jazz style, exactly. It's extremely important to avoid the perfect chord over a major chord. And I reason about this concept because for me, the modal tags, the modal scale are exactly a color palette for a painter, for example. So it's not very too correct, for my opinion, to do to say and to think about the correct and incorrect. Okay, every scale, every chord has a different color. So I would like I like to use the perfect chord. The pop music, for example, is very, very full of this kind of interval. But if I want to like explore the sharp fourth in this case, or sharp 11 at the octave high, I like to use the Lydian tap. So it's the exactly in this case over a C major, I play the F sharp. And naturally, if I explore the chord, okay, the chord of this modal sound, this is okay, this is Ionian chord, this is a Lydian chord. Obviously, it's more fresh, it's more expanse. I don't know. It's like to image. I like to say a perfect journey. I don't know. Okay. In this case, what's the tip, the easy tip to play a pentatonic scale? And I explain exactly all system, but this is a little bit, a little part of the system. Okay. I easy to play exactly a whole tone after the root of the chord. So I play over C major. I simply play the D major pentatonic, okay, or B minor pentatonic, I don't know. I like to use the thinking about only about major pentatonic scale, okay. So the chord is C major, and I play D pentatonic, and I obtain exactly the Lydian scale. So F major, perfect chord after is the Ionian. Whole tone after is a Lydian concept. And it's very easy because if naturally, if I play over a progression, okay? For example, I play first degree, second degree, fourth, sixth degree, okay? In the pop music, in more rock music, naturally, I think about one pentatonic for all degree of the major progression, okay? Because it's very easy to think about one progression. So, when is my personal advice to use this concept? When you have a different progressions with many chords connected, with the modal interchange, I explained a little bit this concept in my course. Modal interchange is where and when I mix, okay, different chords from different progressions, from different tonalities. So, okay, we'll listen a part of the previous video, introduction video. Okay, when I go from C major to A flat major. Okay. Naturally, A flat major is not into the C major tonality, and this is an example of modal interchange. Now in this case exactly, I can to think about the modal Lydian, for example, play D major over C major and B flat over A flat, okay? And I can combine in the same position. So this is a very nice exercise to combine chords to from different tonality with modal interchange and play modal into the every chord.
That's a great explanation, and I think that really
Thank you.
helps you hear how it's different when you're playing that pentatonic there, instead of thinking, oh, it's just the plain major scale over the whole thing, So
Yes,
let's pull up a performance from the course, and that way anybody that wants to check out the course can kind of see, and get a feel for what that looks and sounds like. So let's have Shane roll a track, and then we'll talk a little bit about it after we play it.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That sounds great.
Thank
So
you.
super melodic, right? So this way it gives you a
Exactly.
nice melodic sense when you play this way. So let's do this. Let's talk about what's the chord changes that you're playing over, and then kind of talk about how you're approaching that each change there.
Okay, okay. I like so much to create a single song for playing better different concepts together. This is the best way to explore exactly the concept and to understand and to I don't know download the concept in our playing. This is a nice way to improve. Okay, in this case, the progression is I mix the Ionian and the Lydian scale in a very lyric and melodic way. This is a second concept for me, very important. The melody, I say always, the melody is the DNA of every composition and in the music maybe. So the melodies, study melody and create melody with this kind of melodic concept for I don't know arpeggios or major scale, melodic minor scale. It's the best way to improve to understand exactly the essence of every sound. So in this case, the progression is very easy. This is an example of very easy pop song. Okay, when I start with I change with A flat. Okay, it's a example previously I explained it. It is obviously a modal interchange from C major to A flat. Okay, I change another time to C major, first degree, and I change to A flat. And in this case, I play exactly the Lydian and the Ionian scale over the D flat major. Is that in this case exactly the same condition of the modal interchange with another tonality from C major scale to E flat major scale. So it's very high, very far from the start. For A flat, it's the same because I start with sorry, the accent 0 Z flat or sharp, okay, and arrive to A flat. This is 4, and E flat. This is 3. So it's very major scale, very far. In this case, in this flat, I can play over a A flat major scale, so the chord is this, and I play this, like Ionian, or F major, like as Lydian. Okay, so it's a concept, different concept. And into the song, I explain, there is a special chapter where I explain technically concept of this scale, because it is naturally, it's more important to explore other ways to play pentatonic scale. For example, if I play a G major scale, okay, I can play the bass, or for example, I can play jumping from a skipping into the scale. So it's important for to assure that the sound become more interesting. Okay, it's better to avoid okay. So when I rhythmically and when I combine the rhythmic with the different kinds of intervals into the pentatonic scale, the result is interesting for the listeners and for our way to explore improvisation. So the song is a mixture of Ionian and Lydian sounds.
Great. That is a good explanation. And I think that's well, you can really hear the difference when you play that. You know, when you go back and forth between those, you can tell there's, you know, something different going on there, right? And that's sort of the idea of using pentatonic. So with the modes. So when you're playing, and how does your brain work? Does it think about here's a pentatonic scale and we're adding these notes on to these two notes on in order to get to a Lydian scale? Or does it think more like we're in a Lydian scale and we're taking two notes off to get to pentatonic? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I thank you for this occasion to understand, to explain better the sense. I think to pentatonic has a different color of Lydian. The same example of previously mentioned. I mentioned the image. Okay, I can play with the Lydian using the scale. The sound. But I can play Lydian with arpeggios too. It's the other rules, okay? But the sound. And I can play Lydian with the pentatonic. Is how I give examples, okay, for understand better. But it is how you watch a color with different palette of colors. No, you say red color, okay, but red color is like the fire or TrueFire, for example, the fire, or I don't know, the red, more quiet red, different kinds. So it's the red, but different kinds of red. For the Lydian, as example of model of the mode, but for all our for the other modes is the same thing. Okay, I can use the different kinds of colors, different kinds of scales or notes for playing and for play at the same sound. Make sense?
Absolutely makes sense. That's good explanation into kind of how you think about it. Because I think a lot of players play pentatonic, right? And they know their pentatonic scales and they sort of play that way, like doing blues stuff, right? And they kind of get into the modes, but they're not really sure what to do with those. So here's a good question has come up. What would you say to someone who's a blues player who play over some blues, play over a 12-bar blues, but wants to be able to explore a little bit of these modal colors? Where should they start? What would you say would be a good place for them to sort of get into that way of thinking?
Yes, I connect this very good question with the Mixolydian concept, okay? Because obviously, when I speak about blues, I'm talking about the Mixolydian sound for pentatonic. Okay, Mixolydian sound is how many of the viewers of this live probably knows. It's very simple concept. If I have G7 chords, okay, it's most important to play the G Mixolydian. Okay, and what's the modal tag? Okay, the guide note of the Mixolydian is exactly a 7 minor 7 intervals from the root of the chord. So if I play F, okay, I'm playing exactly Mixolydian sound. So play. So the question is, how can I play the Mixolydian sound of the major scale with perfect fourth using the pentatonic scale? So I extract, okay, and simply use a pentatonic with the F, the minor 7, 9 note interval. It's very easy to play whole tone before the root of the chord. Okay, now it's important to do a special explanation. So it's normal in the blues condition, okay, to be very connected with the pentatonic, minor pentatonic, or B flat pentatonic, or blues scale. I understand this, okay? When I change chord and I go to 4-degree, I continue. Okay, when I go to 5th-degree, okay, about 40 years or 50 years of blues history is maybe too much, okay? It's okay, it's very interesting to play one scale for this kind of progression, okay? But basically, we can play one pentatonic for every degree of the scale. And the reason is this. In this case, if I play only one pentatonic, as mentioned previously, I have the same sound for all chords. Change the sound for every chord, but I play the same chord. So my language, when I play, is the same. It's like a line, okay? Naturally, this depends from the quality of the licks I play, from the quality of the improvisation I do, obviously, okay? But the kind of scale of notes are the same for all three chords, okay? Basically, okay, and I'm introducing the Mixolydian pentatonic, obviously, I'm starting to think about three different scales. From the first degree, I play a G major scale, and I change sound completely. It's a major scale over G7, okay? But the reason is, when I play G major scale pentatonic, okay, as mentioned at the start of the live, I avoid the fourth and the seventh degree of the G major pentatonic. So I don't play the F This is a hybrid scale, okay, for 7. It's okay to use, no word. There's a many examples of guitar players, of blues guitar players, fusion guitar players that works this kind of change. Okay, starting from major. Okay, but when I go to the 4th degree, okay, happens the magic, because I restart using the previous exactly G minor pentatonic or B flat major pentatonic. Okay, and restart with the G major. This is a smart way to use a different kind of sound, but for the 1st and the 4th. And when I go to 5th degree, I change the root scale, the D major. And the reason is this is the same. I'm creating a different kind of sound of the same position, of the same blues progression. B flat over C7 or C9 chords and G major. Now, I play this different pentatonic scale over every degree. And this is a step, okay, after one scale. So I have one scale, 3 scale. But naturally, I can exploring only 2 scales. So, it's more important to practicing with only 2 scales before to play 3 scale. Okay, but the goal is to play 3 scale. And this is the second step. The third step, okay, and I introduced the Mixolydian pentatonic scale, is exactly play for every chord. And I'm connected with the jazz question. I play one Mixolydian pentatonic scale, exactly 4th tone before the root of each chord, and I obtain a Mixolydian sound. So, over G7 chord, I play F. Over C7 chord or C9 chord, I play D flat. This is not a news, because it's the same scale I play always in other cases. And over D, the 5th degree, I play 1 tone before, so I play the C pentatonic scale. So I have F pentatonic scale, B flat pentatonic scale, and C pentatonic scale. Okay, I'm talking about the major scale, not minor. Okay, okay. It's like to eat a different food. Okay, it's a new food. Okay, I'm testing, and they say, oh, okay, interesting, but I don't like very much. Okay, it's not necessary to understand the taste of this kind of progression with scale, pentatonic scale, soon, now. Okay, studying, practicing. Okay, and understand the sound of 20 years of maybe pentatonic usage in fusion players and fusion bands, fusion keyboardists, more composing, because the result is this. It's like 11 chord. Okay, I play 11 chord, 50 degrees. Okay, this is the result in terms of chords, because I play exactly a major triad worked on before. Okay, this is a combination of the sound of the Mixolydian pentatonic scale into the chord. A smart thing to play for me is to combine, okay, the pentatonic I like so much, and to use this kind of sound like a species, like a little part of particular notes into the playing. So, for example, just combining 2 scales, G major and G minor or D flat. Now I introduce the F. And return on the scale I prefer. Okay, very smart this scale
There we
into different measures. I play 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and I'm changing with F, and now start. So I exactly explore four different measures into the blues progression.
Great. That's a good way to look at that blues progression for sure. There gives you a lot of options there, so you're not stuck just playing.
Exactly.
Here's the G minor pentatonic scale, you know, like sometimes people get. You did in the course. There's a great track playing Mixolydian as well. Let's roll that. Let's look at that lesson or that performance, Shane, if you got that up, and then we can talk a little bit about that because that's talking about the Mixolydian. Yeah, that's good stuff. So talk a little bit about that. So you obviously had sort of a, sort of a motif there that you played and, sort of a melody going on there.
Yep.
But how did that relate to this thing we're talking about as far as doing the Mixolydian and the Modal Pentatonics way?
Yes. Okay, with my pleasure. Okay, I remember there's this kind of, it's like saxophone. It's a combination of chromatics into the Mixolydian sound using the pentatonic and the chromatics into the pentatonic. So the concept is the Mixolydian concept of whole tone before the root of the chord with the tag note, the guide tone. This is just the start from the melody for understanding the Mixolydian sound with pentatonic. And I play E major scale of the chord with this kind of taga diga, diga diga, diga diga, taga diga, diga diga, diga diga, so rhythmic 3, 4, okay, to have made interesting during the improvisations, as I mentioned previously, and same melody over the G7 chord. Sorry, the C, my bad. The C7 chord as chord. This is a saxophone player. So the concept is very easy. Exactly one whole tone before every chord. I play F sharp and combine it with the G major scale because it's a little boring to use only F major as Mixolydian. It's more interesting to combine with major scale, in this case from the root. Okay, I combine F major pentatonic with G major scale or with B flat major scale. When I change over this chord, the 4th degree, I exactly use this B flat, the C flat is the whole tone before the C. Okay, the scale I play normally when I use one scale for 3 chords, and when I go to D major, and I play this melody over the 7, the minor 7 intervals for every chord. This is the more important to understand. I F, I B flat, tone, F, and I play C like tone, B flat, and C. So it's time works for us, the time, the practice, listening, and all the fusion players and jazz players like to use this kind of scale. This is the best way to improve.
Thanks, man. Good stuff. So we got a couple questions. I'm gonna just shoot a couple questions at you. The first one, not really related to the specific course, but to your playing, which is any advice on how to practice picking with your fingers. When you play, you talk a little about how you pick and how you think about that, whether it's doing some hybrid picking, playing all fingers, picking like a pick. Talk a little bit about your picking.
Yes, with my pleasure. Okay, I'm exploring this kind of hybrid picking, but it's not hybrid picking. The hybrid picking normally use the pick and the other things. So I'm exploring from, I think, 5 years. Okay, I created a video for TrueFire. It's a model called shapes, where I explain how use all fingers for intervals, for large intervals into the fretboard. But for me, the reason is the totally freedom to play with the pick without the pick. It's a complete contradiction sense. It's no sense praise, because I play with pick, I obtain this kind. And I'm studying for months about obtaining the same kinds of dynamics without pick. So I use the nail as the pick. But it is the best way for me, because it's how to have 4 picks into the hand. So the concept is for me, it's very strong. Actually, I'm studying with this kind. The reason I very too much, because the freedom is to a great. Using the chords, okay, without pick, or the walking bass without pick, or arpeggio. Large intervals, the pick is very huge. It's very difficult to play this kind of interval. Difficult to play with a sweep picking, okay? And the sound is changing. The nail has many comfortably ways to use the improvisation. Now, using the picking, as the picking but without picking. The practice over this kind of concept, playing very slowly, but the goal is to obtain a sound like the picking. So this is my first advice, is to study slowly, using the pick for the scale, for solos. And without distortion. And in the start phase, it's very my right advice is to study without distortion, but only with the sound of the strings and the guitar, and the own hand of everyone, obviously.
So I love it when you do those wider intervals and chord stuff. And yeah, you talked about that. You did that really well in your chordal course at TrueFire. Maybe just show us a couple of those. Like, how would you take a simple chord progression, but using your fingers like that to spread those voices out a little bit more? Give us a couple examples of that.
Okay, for a progression of chord. Okay. Different style, for example. Different guys. Funk. So I can play progression, different kinds of progression using the fingers. Okay, with plectrum, we pick it very, very different. But I continue to use the pick. Okay, in many my compositions during the recording, I prefer to use the pick for other reasons. Okay, but I love to have the freedom to use the picks and my four picks at the same time.
All right, Andrea. So we've had a little glitch with Jeff. His power went out, so I'm going to fill in just for a little bit. And what we do have is just a few comments and questions from the chat that I wanted to share with you. Fabio says, "Thanks. I love the freedom given by your finger style, but I also love the mellower sound using your fingertips. The flesh, not the nails, but that's a personal taste. It's a very impressive technique." Is there anything about that comment that you would like to speak on?
Okay, about the use of fingers in the playing. Okay. As said previously, okay, I can play with one finger using one finger as one pick. Okay, experimenting. In this case, I use I use two fingers, the palm muting style. And I use a rake, and the sounds, the general sounds are quite similar. I studied for many years, many hours, obtaining the same result. Pick, okay, very similar. And I recorded the result in a studio, in my studio with my laptop, and I listened exactly the differences between the pick and between the finger. Okay, and I worked on to eliminate the difference. So it's a good approach to use one finger before for the scale. So repeat, for example, the pentatonic scale using the alternate pick, in this case, alternate nail. Okay, for all scale. Simply to do the same thing I play with the pick, apply to the nail style.
And continuing on with that, we have another question here that says, any suggestion on how to practice finger style on the electric guitar, like yourself or Mancuso?
Yes. Okay. This kind of style is to give from the classical study. I study classical study at the conservatory, but I'm not a classical player. I play obviously classical guitar, but I am a modern guitar. But the classic guitar has helped me for many things. as discipline, sound, focusing of the sound, the right sound. When I play, okay, the classical guitar, what I play is the man and the guitar. All the sounds obtained depends only from the attach of the fingers, the sounds, the angulation of the hands, and many, many other things, okay? The electrical guitar sometimes is too much focusing on the depth, the chorus, okay, the pedal board, I think, no, my bridge is 1 centimeter, not 2 millimeters, okay, you understand the difference, okay? So this is for me, it was very important to focusing only with sound. And yes, you can study. If you are a modern guitar player, my advice is to start to study the basics of the classical guitar to understand exactly the mechanics of everything, okay, of the right hand, combining with arpeggios, okay, combining with simple tunes, maybe of the I don't know, Carcassi, Giuliani, so very just the basic of the classical guitar can help you to understand the practicing theories and to exploring this kind of technique with the electric guitar, using the thumb, the other things.
So we have.
Jeff!
I'm back. I just my entire studio went black.
This is a sunny day, man.
Yes,
sunny day. Okay, Italy is a little
very windy, really windy here, and I must have killed something. So glad to be back, standing outside because my house is dark. But great, man. I know we're kind of wrapping things up here anyway.
I have a question for you, man.
Yes.
Is a Lydian day or a Mixolydian day now for you?
Well, you know, it feels a little Lydian because it feels a little bizarre, you know? To me, exactly. Lydian is a little spacey and a little floating, you know? Surreal.
Be careful to sharp 4 and sharp 11 floating the hair, man. Okay.
Yeah, man, it feels like that right now. So, but hey, thanks. I know we're kind of wrapping this up. I want to thank everybody for doing this, and Shane for jumping in when everything went black for me. But man, make sure everybody pick up this course if you haven't already got it, and for sure check out all of Andrea's other courses. Great stuff. You can for sure find him. Tell everybody where they can find you online. Where's the best place to find you online? Okay, the modal chord shapes. This is a chord focused on this kind of fingers techniques, but the primary topic is how to play the chords, voices, chord shapes in a melodically way. So, for my opinion, is a very interesting for a fresh playing of the guitarist. Now we have Modal Pentatonics, and another the name is Blues Tactics. Is in this case using of progression of blues in general, treated on the harmonically ways, fresh ways, using of different voices, extension, using rhythmic displacement, for example, to change the typical progression of 3 chords in a very new way and fresh way for composition, rhythmical players in general. Sounds great, man. So I know this is ending kind of strange, so you don't need to see any more of me. I want you to play something. So why don't you play us out? Maybe if you've got a track you can play along with. Let's go ahead and wrap this up and have you do a little bit of playing here at the end. How's that sound?
Okay.
Get a track dialed in.